Sambudu Samawath Pooja Sambudu Samawatha පියනගන Arya උතුමන්ගේ පෙළහර.
Teruvan Sarana everyone. Sambudu Samawath Pooja. Sambudu Samawath Pooja is actually a offering that is done to Supreme Buddha's premium quality of Samadhi. So our main aim in this puja is to create the background for Samadhi. What we call by Samadhi is actually the combination of Sammadhi to Samma Sati. It contains 7 components, starting from Sammadhi, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva and Samma Sati. All 7 components contribute to the final result, which is Samma Samadhi. Samma Samadhi is actually the background to cultivate Samma Jnana and Samma Vimukti. So we have to understand how an incense stick puja would create the background to develop Samadhi. If we go through the Abhidhamma, the technical part of Buddha Dhamma, you would understand that a kusala chitta or a meritorious chitta is developed with jnana sampayukta nature, or in other words, wisdom, the wise insight, and also the somanasa sahagata nature, that is the delightedness or the rejoicing of the meritorious deed. So these 2 components are very essential to develop a high meritorious power. Doing a puja with such a large number of incense sticks actually create a delighted mindset. You can rejoice because seeing the size of the puja itself creates a very happy mindset. And we have to know the reason behind it, or the mechanism how it creates a very high or a powerful kusala chitta. So to understand this, we have to understand the meaning behind the incense stick. Incense stick depicts Samma Samadhi, or an individual who practices Samma Samadhi. And this Samadhi Magga, or the Samadhi pathway, would create causes for Panya, or wisdom. And wisdom is what we should achieve to complete Nibbana. Incense stick is straight. Straightness of the incense stick shows the straightness of thinking, talking and acting. These are the 3 things that we do. So to do this, we need Dhamma insight, or opening of the eyes of wisdom. And that is Sammadhi, the correct viewpoint, correct vision about this world. If one has the correct vision, then he knows the anicca, dukkha and anatta nature. Avidya, which is ignorance, is like darkness. And Panya, which is wisdom, is like the light. So if we take this incense stick, the top is burning and it is shining. And this shining nature is the wisdom or the Sammadhi. And when Sammadhi is there in a person, or when someone is contemplating on Dhamma, Raga, Dosa and Moha are turned into ashes, just like the black part of the incense stick is burned down by the by the fire that is at the top. Just like Samadhi, burning down the klesha or the defilements as defilements to ashes. So the straightness is very important because we don't see incense sticks which are coiled. They are always straight. Why is that? Because when we do unwholesome things, we tend to have a very curved or a very shrinked mindset. The mindset is shrinked. If we hurt people or kill people, we steal, if we have various unwholesome relationships, and if we lie, if we slander, or do any kind of unwholesome thing, our mind is not clear. We tend to have a very inward mindset. We don't like to meet people who are having a virtuous mindset. But if we are practicing wholesome things, we can go into the society without any regrets, without any remorse about our past actions. So our head is straight, our spine is straight. We can look into the eyes of another person and say, I am innocent, I am pure, and I don't do any unwholesome things. Just like the straight incense stick. That is the Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, and Samma Kammanta. And the lifestyle of this kind of a person also aligns with the straightness, which is Samma Ajiva. The burning of the incense stick creates heat energy, and this heat energy is what continues to burn this black component of the incense stick, and that is the Samma Vayama, or the effort. Effort is energy. So that energy, that heat energy is what burns down the stick until its end. And this continuous process is happening because of Samma Sati. So if the Samma Sati is not there, this stick, the burning of this incense stick would halt in the middle. The process would come to a stop. But it doesn't come to a stop because Samma Sati is always working and maintains this process until the end. And when this process is happening, these whole 7 components combine to create Samma Samadhi. And this Samma Samadhi would generate Samma Jnana and Samma Vimukti, which is the end. At the end, everything would, the whole incense stick would come to an end and it will disappear. Just leaving just a small leftover. So just like that, a seeker or a practitioner of Arya pathway would come to an end in Parinibbana. So incense stick shows this nature. Incense stick shows this Arya Magga, or the Noble Eightfold pathway. So knowing this mechanism, understanding this would help us to do this puja with more insight. When we have wisdom, when we have the wise insight, we'll be able to do this puja with more delightedness. So it helps the happiness or the rejoicing as well. So the chitta or the mindset which is created by the wisdom and the delightedness would generate immeasurable merits. Why do we need these merits? So we'll use these merits to repay debts to everyone who were hurt and harmed by our actions in the past, who might be practicing samadhi. So in the past, maybe in the past lives, we might have hindered and harmed and hurt people who practice samadhi, who are completing their Arya pathway. If we have done those types of things, our aim is to spread this meritorious power to all of them. And on the other hand, this power, the meritorious power, would help us to strengthen our samadhi indriya. It will create the background for that, and we'll use that background to complete our Arya pathways or to complete our samadhi. So, with the understanding of why we do this puja, we are planning to contribute in whichever the way we can, with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions. And in the end, it will contribute to the power which is generated. So with this understanding, let us do this puja on 5th of April in the evening, and we are inviting everyone with a Dhamma mindset to participate in this puja and to be a part of this rare occasion and to generate immeasurable merits in the process. Thero Saranai.